Going on, buddy?
Not much.
I didn't think I'd make it, but
Guys, what's up?
how's it going?
Long time no see.
I know. It's been what? 5, 6 months?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, some people could have germinated a child almost that by then.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I like the Work Pro shirt.
Yeah, I was going to text you guys and be like, hey, let's not everybody wear the Work Pro shirt tonight. Then we'd look like we'd have it too much together.
Yeah.
Well, we could all wear Everbright shirts, but they had a little flaw with those shirts. I was able to tear my shirt like paper.
Well, I am not so lucky. I didn't get an Everbright shirt or light. So
I don't believe I did
That's okay.
either, but I have the Work Pro one.
The Work Pro one's not too bad.
No, they just had poor luck with the Everbright.
I just want to say, what's up, Old School Repair Shop? And I gotta get online here.
And Patch, hi Patch, old school. And BW. Yeah, I gotta go start looking at the YouTube side instead of.
BW's Electronics. How's it going? One of those group streams the other day.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so how's business going there, Brandon?
So, this time of year it's kind of slowed down for me. Well, it slowed down and I didn't have nothing for like 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I got like 6 mowers all in one day.
When it rains, it pours, right?
Yep.
Now, I actually never asked you this, and you don't have to answer, but do you work in someone's shop or do you run your own shop?
Been doing it by myself for 10 years.
That's awesome, man.
What's up, Ronald?
So, Brandon, what are your plans? Isn't the place that you're at, aren't they not releasing it, or what was that situation going on?
They are supposed to be selling it, but they have not found a buyer yet. They want over $500,000 for this property.
You have to fix a lot of small engines to be able to afford that.
Well, even if I bought it, it would after it sells, it would be commercial only. They can't let it because the way they had it rezoned in here, this area.
Oh.
Now, I mean, just because they sell it there doesn't mean you have to move, right?
No, they'll be selling it for commercial. It's zoned for commercial now.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as he was to stay there, nothing would really change, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Just owners.
But the second it switches owners, it'll have to be. So in commercial, you can't live there technically, can you?
Nope.
Right. So I don't know about you guys. Have you seen any new tools or toys or anything that have caught your eye? I mean, any decent deals that are coming down the pipeline since Black Friday apparently isn't going to be the Black Friday that we always know it as?
I haven't really been paying attention. I saw Ryobi came out with a few subcompacts there, and I got those to play around with. But other than that, I don't need anything,
Yeah, I haven't been in a tool buy mood. But they're starting to put things out for Christmas time. I've noticed a lot of stores. So
Yeah, I noticed that, which is a lot earlier than.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving isn't even over, and they got Christmas stuff out, and Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas stuff all commingled at the same time.
I went to Home Depot today and I saw that. Christmas when you walk in, Halloween around the corner.
Yeah.
Probably Easter's in the back somewhere by plumbing.
Yeah. Well, we got 10 people in here tonight. We got CP the Tool Addict joining us. What's up, man? We got Craig from MC Engineering. We got Ronald and Tampa Boy Customs and Small Engine Nation.
Small Engine Nation.
So, Brandon, who's running the Small Engine Nation YouTube these days?
I think this small engine nation channel is actually who's that? Phil's Lawn Care. Remember Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But the Hangout, I don't know if the Hangouts even exist because I haven't had nothing to do with that forever.
So what about you, Chris? What about tools? What are you trying to get into? And
I don't know. It's kind of like maybe I'm probably going to take a look at the Mac RBRTs, and there's one product that kind of caught my eye to compare them to out there, although it's, you know, not exactly the same concept. But believe it or not, the Mac RBRTs, it's kind of like a license deal. They're actually also a couple other brands that have it. They're rebranded in a couple other countries. If you dig hard enough, you'll be able to see.
Is that their cordless stuff, or is that something
it's
else?
Their it's like their hex Allen sockets and torque sockets that are like the damaged or rounded off fastener removal.
Okay, yeah, I did. I forget who I saw that on, but I've seen a few, you know, clips recently of that actually.
Yeah, I mean, they were on CB's Black channel.
Yeah.
A couple other ones where I can't remember what the gentleman's name is off the top of my head, but he does all the demos for him, and I really haven't seen anybody actually take a look at him that haven't had the guy that helps do the demos on him. So I just jumped on the Mac truck, bought some myself, and we'll check them out.
Oh yeah. I found an interesting channel today, and I forget what it's called, but it's something like the hydraulic something channel. It's a foreign guy, and I guess he had jack stands, and he was putting them under a hydraulic press to test their failure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was very cool. I thought it was fun.
I actually saw some at the pawn shop the other day that were some of the recalled jacks.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like,
did you take them all to Harbor Freight?
An offer on them that I didn't even want to deal with the hassle, but I was like, man, they went up like $44 for the pair of jack stands, and I'm like, I feel like that's as much or more than what they were brand new. So I didn't even bother it. So let's see, we got Princess Jamie joining us, a patch of Heaven Farm.
What's up, Jamie? Jamie is actually supposed to show up here tomorrow. We're going to do a live stream.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I'm going to check out some Ingersoll Rand hand tools behind me.
They have like pretty much like a lot of things going on, right, with their hand tools. Like
they launched them at SEMA last year.
Right. Yeah, you went there.
And then it wasn't really until like the middle or beginning of 2020 that they were actually available for purchase. And so, I mean, I don't think anybody's really purchased any and shown any. So, I mean, it's kind of like a license deal. So, I mean, if somebody out there wants to rebrand tools, who was it? Caterpillar. You know, they're going to license some cordless powered tools, which nobody knows when they're going to come to market. Nobody knows what country they're going to market them in. But, hey, they're out there, or they're going to be out there. So,
I mean, I don't know. The more you get into tool buying and stuff, the more, you know, this tool looks like this tool, and then you buy something off of Amazon for $2 and you realize it was, you know, they're all rebranded. A lot of them.
Yeah. So like there was a deal a couple weeks ago. You could get a Napa Carlisle 3/8 inch drive locking flex head comfort grip ratchet for $24.99. And that sold out in a matter of a couple weeks. But if you really look at what that ratchet is, It's very similar to a Power Built one, which is going to be rebranded by All Trade. And I don't know who actually makes their tool, but it's pretty much exactly like the Carlisle one, minus the comfort grip, minus the locking portion of it. And it's a third to 2/3 cheaper. So
Power belt.
yeah,
Actually,
there are lots of different things out there.
Power Belt's the one that's sold at O'Reilly's, right?
Yeah, so
They might have sold for a while. I know they have them at Northern Tool. I know some of the Power Builts at AutoZone. Oh, yeah, there you go.
it's a little stubby. I needed to get into a spot, and it was like $20 for the. I don't even think it was that much. I think it was like $16 for these.
Very
And
cool.
it worked. So it's like I knew that name
That's the
sounded
most
familiar.
important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, like the reality when you talk about power tools, because I know, Neil tests anything from really cheap stuff to really expensive stuff. And I think the bottom line is you're comfortable with it, it's probably going to work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then you probably shouldn't consider that brand anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like I enjoy the odd brands on Amazon because it's fun to me, But and I know people will just hop on and just buy something like that, and it probably will be all right. But I don't know if I'd advise that to be the first step,
Well, that's what Amazon's got their 30, 60, or 90-day, depending on which seller you buy it from, for their return policy. And if it doesn't work out, if it's not a good fit for you.
It is fun to do the cheapest tools on Amazon test.
But they got to be like cheap, because there's some brands out there. They
like
might be,
Kimosabi.
yeah, they might be green and white. That may not be the cheapest, and it still might be good or bad, depending on what situation you're going to be using it. It might be so bad that my wife wouldn't even let me gift it to anybody, or you just don't know what to do with it.
Their cordless ratchet's like $90.
It actually works out good.
Yeah, was that your
Plasma cutter, right?
Cheapest plasma cutter on Amazon, $159 one.
Which is a good deal, because you bought that as they were rolling out a new model, so that one went extra cheap, and then it pretty much was close out and you couldn't buy it anymore. But if it works, it works.
It works great.
So that's a tough one, though. I think that one sucks a little more power. Like, you really need to have a good 30 or 40 amp fuse on that, because Brandon, what isn't your generator like 20 amp?
Something like that. It'll cut, but if you cut for like a long period of time, you have to give it a break every so often. You can't just go and do like a 3 or 4 inches and then just keep at it.
All right. Okay. Love you too.
You guys gotta remind me to hit the like button. I forget, like, since I'm in the stream, I can still hit that. It's not available.
I always forget to hit like buttons until someone mentions it.
We got 15 people joining us tonight. We got Yoda Doug's Tool Collecting Channel. How's it going, man? And Princess Jamie was working on a bumper, it looked like, so she may be in and out. Hope that goes well for you. And we got Tampa Boys Customs that can't stay, just wanted to say hi. And I'm beat from the races that he had today.
Yep. Yeah, the last thing I bought gear wrench was from Tractor Supply. And the case smells like Harbor Freight. That smell you smell when you go into Harbor Freight.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of tools that smell like that, depending on where you buy them from.
I mean, I'll be honest. I have a few Ryobis I bought that smell. The first month of use is all Chinese fumes, and then it settles down.
It smells like it's burning out or something. It's powerful. You're like, oh man, it's gonna catch a fire any minute now. See, that's set right there.
Oh yeah, you got the what is that one, like the 42 or 35 piece bit set?
Yeah. That was when I was doing that drive shaft on that Dodge Charger.
I have that same set too. However, mine came with 2 duplicates in it, and one of them was I think it was like I don't remember, it was like a 35 T40, and it was the security socket bit one, and they sent me the correct one, but it wasn't the security bit one, but it had the security bit stamp on it. I was like, oh my gosh. And the other one was like a 6mm hex, and I'm like, they replaced that too, but since it didn't come with the set, it's like a little bit longer than the other ones, and I'm like,
I need some of the
Gear
long
wrench.
ones now, but I don't know if I want to go with gear wrench. Well, here recently, gear wrench. When I first started using gear wrench, it had really, really good reviews. But here in the last couple of years, it seems like the quality must have went downhill a little because I'm hearing more bad things than I used to hear about them.
got Sergeant Joe Smith joining us. How's it going, man?
Sergeant Joe Smith, Walter Frederick. I mean, I really feel like that's almost every company nowadays. They come out with a great product. They, it runs fabulously for years, and then they want that profit margin to boost, and whatever they got to do, where they're going to keep feeling like they're not cutting the quality, but I mean, the stuff works. It feels cheaper, right?
Yeah, so that's the set there, Brandon. That was actually the 4. So you can see how short the 4 is compared to the other 2. It like goes to there, versus all the way to the top. So that was the first oops, because they had like 2 5s in there. And then which one was it? It was the security one. Oh, it was a T45. Yeah, so that one stamped the security, but there's no security. It's got the little star next to it, and that one does have it. So yeah, that was kind of a bummer, and I was like, I'm not even going to try to deal with that anymore. I have enough Torx bits. I really didn't need the set, but it gets you in and gets you to see some of the quality and things of that nature. So I would agree, it's not as good as what it was. It's not terrible.
I only needed it for this one socket. I didn't have a T60, so I bought it just for that one.
So just out of curiosity, what drove you to buy the whole set versus just getting
the one you needed?
Because I couldn't find it just the one local, and I needed to get the job done because I was getting paid good. I mean, this was only like $30 versus I made like $700 off that job. So,
well, fair enough. If you can get it paid, you can get paid for that. Essentially buys the tool for you, and now next time you have that job or a similar one come up, you should have the tools you need.
Yeah.
And be good to go. So it works out. I mean, there's times when I bought a whole set just for one thing. I don't disagree with you. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So you know what brand I kind of like, or I've had very good luck with, and I'm not like saying ain't like, for me as a homeowner, doing stuff on newer cars, you kind of need one of these. So I went out and I got it, and the Nico brand.
Oh yeah, I've actually used some of that stuff before.
Yeah.
It's a trim panel removal tool because you have all those things, and I got sick of trying to use 2 screwdrivers and stuff. But I mean, they're well built, and I don't know if it matters, but made in Taiwan. I use them today actually. I have some sockets too from them that worked out well for around the house. But I mean, pretty decent. It's like a soft grip.
I have some of the older Ampro hard handle ones from, I think, Advanced Auto. I never bought the Harbor Freight ones. They just, I didn't hear great things about the Harbor Freight door trim panels. And I don't know. I think the Snap-on and Mac ones and Tool Truck ones are a little too expensive for me. But I hear they work.
This one was $25, $24.99. So I was all right with that.
They have step bits that's actually not bad and they're cheap. And I used them for a long time. All step bits, no matter what brand to get, always usually over time breaks off right at the shank. Over time. Yeah. I'm using mine like a lot. Some people don't use theirs as much as I use mine. So.
Yeah, mine's usually a lot with when I do electrical work at work is where I really use step bits.
Got Matt from Just Wrench It joining us. How's it going? We have BW's Electronics saying that he did buy some gear wrench stuff from Tractor Supply. I can tell you that they were one of the first suppliers that I know of that had like a retail chain that had some of the gear wrench 92 stuff. That's where I picked up my ratchet that I broke, and that's who warranted my ratchet as well for me.
I bought mine from Sears like 3 years ago.
Yeah, Matt, I shaved, and that happens. I look a little bit younger. We also cleaned up the garage tonight, and my wife did a great job helping me. And she said before I go to bed, I got a shower. So I figured before the live stream tonight, we'll get that taken care
of. Do you have a beard? Was it like out to here?
No, it wasn't that bad. It was probably like a week and a half.
Wasn't like Castaway or anything?
No.
You're like, Wilson.
Well, whenever I get a chance to do my next video, that one, I get a chance to go to Harbor Freight. You'll be able to tell the facial hair in there because I actually started out with the intro outside the store. Then we go shop around, and then we talk about their new Hercules brushless, their first brushless tool to the Hercules lineup. And we'll get a chance to, I haven't actually used it yet. So I picked it up yesterday after work and did the intro and haven't had a chance to work on the rest of it. My computer decided to reboot on me in the middle of it. And I was like, I was talking to Dewey Did It, and he's like, hey, man, I got a free computer, but it's so frustrating. It reboots on me after 5 minutes. And I go, okay, so you got a free computer that reboots on you after 5 minutes. That might not be a good deal because the amount of time or parts you have to throw at it to try to figure out which piece is broken might not be a great deal. So I was like, gosh, Dewey jinxed me. And so I just turned it off and haven't gone back. Who makes the Hercules? I don't know who makes it, actually. I don't even know who made their first round of Hercules tools. I never really researched it.
So I don't know either, but Brad's Workbench did a video on this brushless angle grinder. And I guess there's a lot of similarities between that one and the Earthquake one previously before it. But
so
he said he wasn't 100% sure, but they very, very well could have, but I will say it's like I'm not a huge fan of Harbor Freight and I don't buy the cordless tools, but I guess like a lot of people have been wanting to see new tools from Hercules, and it's nice that at least the new tool is brushless as well. So, hopefully they'll start making some tools for the Hercules.
Yeah, Matt said Harbor Freight started having their suppliers unlist things after he did a Bauer video. I think I mentioned it maybe in a live stream or something like that, Matt, too. I think it was like Lee Tool or something like that. I can't remember the brand off the top of my head. You could literally see what looked just like the Bauer stamped with a another name on it in the same spot. And so it was pretty evident that you could see what the tool looked like. And then they also had things that Harbor Freight didn't have, which was interesting. So they had like a dual charger, and you're like, well, come on, if I'm going to buy the Harbor Freight power line, I want that tool. And they had bigger batteries too, if I recall. And that's where they had some of the other tools that they finally brought to the lineup, where they had some like the weed trimmer and stuff like that. But sometimes you're just a little bit too late to the game, where it's like, I was actually looking for the string trimmer and the leaf blower last year, and Harbor Freight didn't have the string trimmer out, and I wasn't going to buy into that whatever the 60 or 80 volt that they kind of then they did away with it to bring the Atlas brand to it.
Atlas, yeah.
And so I just went, so I went Cobalt instead for the string trimmer, because I got the string trimmer and the leaf blower and a battery for like $119. Couldn't beat that. So, and my wife can actually use the things. Doesn't smell like, 40 to 1 mix, and it's good to go. Life's good.
I want to buy like a cordless trimmer, but I have like a Ryobi that's, it's not like super old, but it's one of those expandeds. It's probably like 11, 12 years old. I have all different heads, and I keep waiting for that thing to just die, but I don't think it's going anytime soon.
Yeah, mine is actually outside. I have the Ryobi one too, and I have the edge trimmer with it, and I have one other one with it. It's the gas-powered weed eater with it. And my wife, when we were cleaning out the garage tonight, she said, why don't you just get rid of that? And I'm like, well, I need it for the edge trimmer. I don't use the trimmer portion. She goes, just buy a new one. Just buy a new one.
I mean, I have the extra pole, and then the pole saw also. So it's like a 8 to 12 foot pole saw.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah, and I got the little rototiller, which is actually really convenient when you got a little patch or something you want to fix on your grass. And yeah, that thing's been awesome.
Nice.
I thought the shaft was gonna like bend or break eventually, but it just keeps going.
Yeah, I was thinking mine was gonna die too. The one thing I always have die is the leaf blower / leaf vac.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but I bought the Craftsman one.
That's
and I think it died every 3 years on me.
Well, don't say that. This is the 3rd year for my newest one. But to be honest with you, the first one I had was, when I bought my house, I took it off my dad because he wasn't doing leaves anymore, and it was probably 15 years old. So,
well, mine straight up died. Like it committed suicide. Like it sent the piston right through the sidewall and out the side, and like no warning. It's just like out the side. Like that's done. Not going to service anything. And then another one, I think I had to gut the muffler on it, and that gave it a couple extra days. But we used to, before we moved, we literally would go through probably like 30 or 40 different bags of leaves every 2 to 3 weeks during this time of season. And it's like only half of those were our trees. So we were doing so much work that I almost bought one of those dang leaf vacs, but just couldn't justify spending $400, $500, $600 only for a matter of month that you would use it. And so we would run that little leaf vac shredder thing. And I was just too cheap to go buy like an Echo or something like that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like a backpack, because honestly, like I go out probably 6 or 8 times in the fall, but for me to do one clearing of my property, I'm probably looking at about a good 4 hours. So
Shop around, you want to check a few brands, because there's some that's really, really heavy that'll, when you put on your back, it weighs you down so much. The Echo one's pretty light. The Stihl one's heavy. I haven't tried the Ryobi one.
I've heard of some people that use the Ryobi, and they say it's the real deal. So, it intrigues me, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. Like every year I get my stuff done anyway, so like it takes me a while, but it works.
So I was at Home Depot the other day, and I typically don't buy a ton of Milwaukee stuff, but they had the little Milwaukee flip out socket set. It's the SAE one, and I bought it just for the 3/8 roto head ratchet on it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
awesome.
small, but it was $33. So you get the 12. I don't even know.
Wait,
It's
so
like a
that
kit of 12 total.
that whole set was 33 at Home
Yeah.
Depot, and
Yeah,
they're
so
selling the other ones for like
yeah.
200.
Well,
Like this-
no, that's the thing. They're starting to clearance out some of the items. So the SAE version was 33, normally 69. The metric version right there was still like 53.
That's not bad now. Yeah, because they wanted like what originally for it, like 100 and something.
69.
No, it was like $110 at my Home Depot. But I guess because the ones that they're selling at my Home Depot had
This-
the pack out thing.
At Home Depot, which is a little outrageous. They got their little hatchet in, at least at my Home Depot.
That thing looks cool.
So that's the little chainsaw. That was
I like that
the
question.
M12 6-inch.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah,
want-
technically Yoda Doug, that is the 1/4 inch in the for $33. It was worth it to have this size and uniqueness of a tool, even though it's not like my only one. I have like 3 others that can make up for that. Same thing.
He's having bad internet connection.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it my computer?
I thought he was starting to glitch a little, and then
They were clearancing all their ratchets and socket sets too, at least. That's what I saw when I was there. So they weren't like super cheap. They were like $3 to $7 off what their original price was.
So the ratchets are good, but you say the sockets aren't, right? Or just
I mean, I don't know. They work. I mean, it's just got the square gimmick. My bad. You know what? These are supposed to be so you don't, have them roll away from you. It's supposed to be not so slippery, but as you can see, you drop them like, yeah, whatever. So,
hey,
I mean,
I don't mean to interrupt, but Yoda Doug question, that best, cheapest tool. That would be something that we should. I think that'd be fun to answer eventually.
yeah,
best, least expensive power tool. Doesn't matter battery or corded.
Used or new also would make a big difference. I'm
Well,
assuming new.
You go first. You cover the avenue you want on that, and then we'll go.
Let's come back to it in 5 minutes, but we'll talk and then think about it because there's
okay.
there's a few there for me. All right, I'll be right back.
I mean, best, least expensive power tool. Doesn't matter battery or corded. I mean, if you're talking like a drill, man, and it was I don't know, I can get some pretty decent stuff, even considered new, at a pawn shop compared to, and it just depends on if you want to make money with it or if you just want to have it. Like, honestly, like if you don't have a power washer, you can make some money with a power washer, believe it or not, whether it be doing decks or cleaning up other things. That's always a good buy if you don't have one. As far as power tool, Man, I think I'd probably go an impact driver over a drill, to be honest, because you can get a lot of different sizes with the square or quarter-inch hex that you can use a drill bit on. Although it's not as accurate to me as some of the drills out there, but you could do some of it if you go slow enough. You can have it start drilling and not worry about the impact portion of it. I mean, I've been testing some of the Heart Tool stuff, and it's cheap. I mean, it's disappointing. They did have the drill and impact driver kit that you would get 2 batteries on originally when it was first released for $94. And then the refresh that they did, you only got 1 battery with the same tools. So that, to me, if you could pick up the Heart Tools and you didn't care, because we're talking cheap here, you could pick up that kit for $94 with 2 batteries, 3-year warranty. I think that was a pretty decent deal for $94. I mean, it's a big tool. It performed better than the Ryobi Compact, believe it or not. And again, you got 2 batteries for $94, but the refresh version only comes with 1. So that's probably been my best, cheapest purchase. And the way it works for me is I get to do a couple of YouTube videos on it, and then I'll gift it to somebody for Christmas as slightly used. So, I mean, they won't care.
I really hate Heart Tools though, because they don't have battery light indicators, and like, you know, when you're using these tools every day, that is very important to be able to. That's why I don't like M12 too much, because in order for me to check my fuel gauges, I gotta shove it in a tool just to see where the battery's at.
So the new Ryobi stuff for their small batteries now has gauges on it. So you might like that.
I do.
Which, I mean, believe it or not, that is still able to power my old angle grinder that I have. So I'm actually going to compare that, believe it or not, with the Hercules when I get a chance to do it. But I mean, you know, Neil, those are your good old favorite colors. That good old.
I actually have that one at work. I use it at work still.
I mean, believe it or not, I mean, if you need an angle grinder
in a pinch,
this thing was a workhorse. I mean, that was my first cordless one, and my first corded one was right here. I mean, I don't know what it is, but there was something about that twist on the base that sold me, but I never use it.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that was kind of a gimmick, but I mean, I bought it, still have it, still works.
No, yeah, it is.
Same thing with this one. You're able to move the battery.
It's come in handy a few times. That's like the that Harbor Freight recip saw where you can. Now, all right. Another thing with this cheapest tool, is it the dirt cheapest, or is it like I bought something that was like $1,000 less than what a normal one would cost, and it's been probably my best tool, but I don't know if that applies.
Yeah. Well, I have to say
it's going to be what's cheapest or what you think is cheapest.
Yeah.
All right. I know what I'm going to say there. All right. Go, Brandon.
So the cheapest I found so far was my Cobalt Sawzall Compact. We cut a whole RV apart with this. It was $80, and it had a deal where you got a battery with it for $80 if you bought it online. So cut a whole RV. I mean, you can tell the abuse on it.
That Dewey did it would love that. I think that dude bleeds blue.
Yeah. Yep. Very much so. Very much so. The one thing I'll tell you that Ryobi spoiled me when it comes to the grinder is that the blade change is always the tool for it is right there in the handle. And I unfortunately compare all my other grinders to that and say, well, you suck because that's where the tool is supposed to be.
Well, and it's funny too.
Nobody else.
A lot of those, they just stick it in the handle, but there's no, you know.
Right. There's no keeping it there. It doesn't retain itself. So that's why I love Ryobi. They're not, it's not the best tool, but they sure as hell do think about their products. So Brandon, which one do you have that has the removal tool in the handle that stays?
Cord Skill.
Oh, so the Skill did that too.
Skill.
See,
Yeah.
not every brand does that, and it's silly that I base my grinders on that. But here's the best thing. If I'm such a crybaby about that, we just take the handle off, and then we put it on. Oh, but it doesn't work on the Hercules one, which is disappointing. But I can tell you my Bosch one works on the Hercules. Darn it.
I can understand because that tool, you're always losing this. If you don't have it on your grinder, you're always losing that spanner.
Yep. Maybe we'll have to do like a thumbnail with like, this one's got the 3 spots. We'll have to do a thumbnail with 3 handles on the grinder. Something different, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So
Grinders, cord's falling apart.
Still works. And I'll tell you, it's sure nice. I mean, I remember just having one, and then when I got 2, like I could have different
wheels
on there.
Oh yeah.
And then you know, it was really hard for a while to pass up when Harbor Freight had the grinder for $5 that you could pick up. That one.
Well,
I mean,
there's
if you want to benchmark something on cheap, that one was cheap and it works.
I'm amazed that that Harbor Freight, the cheap Harbor Freight grinder, all the metal work that I do, and I do a lot of it. It's held up.
That one?
Yeah. I figured it would burn up already.
Yeah, I'm on my second one. My first one lasted me 7 years. This one I picked up and I haven't used it because I've had my Bosch one that's been taking a beating. But that one's been in use for quite a while. I like the little flex that they have in the handle. That's pretty nice. This one does interchange with the Hercules one, but it doesn't fit the tool in there like the Ryobi one does. So I don't know. This one's been pretty decent.
I want a cordless one next. I just don't know what I want to go with. I don't know if I want to go with Cobalt, Milwaukee, or DeWalt. I got all 3 battery platforms here.
Well, if it was me, I would probably, it just depends. I don't know if the DeWalt has the paddle one. The Cobalt one has a big old paddle on it.
Yeah.
And the Cobalt one does not work with the high output battery, only the standard battery. But that's all the batteries you have. You don't have the high output one that came with the Cobalt. So unless you know, some people like the paddle. Some shops you have to have the paddle. Some of them can't have locking switches. It just depends on where you're at and how they're working. Since you're on your own, you can do whatever you want, whatever works best for you. I mean, to me, your DeWalt batteries are going to be way more expensive than your Cobalt batteries. So
my pride and joy is the cordless Hyper Tough, which I'll be 100% honest. Like, I've been using this just at home, around the house. The thing works, you know, and I was using good old Metabo, which, I mean, this is really nice. It is really nice. So, but to go from that to this, and this is working for me, I don't know. We'll see longevity, I guess.
Yeah, the one thing that I was disappointed on this one, and I knew it once I saw and looked at the box, is it doesn't have the toolless retaining clip on it like some of the other brands do. But I knew that going into it. I just bought into it since they're going to have some other tools coming to that line. And
so, like, for the guard, you mean?
For the actual the disc that you put on there, there's some that have like different clips. So they're toolless. I would have really, really, really liked to seen a toolless.
That's the Metabo is toolless. You just push it and it unlocks and threads on there. But yeah, like even this Hyper Tough, like I've seen a lot of like the cheaper grinders. You have to have like a screwdriver or something for the shield, and I don't use the shield a lot, but I kind of iffy on it, you know. But like this is, you can move it, just has a button, a detent, balance, and it just rotates. That it is actually kind of nice for I don't know, I paid $50 for that with the battery.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cordless, so
Yeah, exactly.
as long as it works, it works.
The best tool I would say I had bought is probably my Ryobi tile saw. It's 11 years old, and I mean, bought it for like $100, and I think it's like $180 at Home Depot. And at first, it was to renovate my house, and then started doing tiling jobs with that on the side. So I made a lot more money than what I bought it for.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
I think I bought my tile saw just one of the cheap $100 specials.
Yeah, those tabletops are
I'll tell you, if you're going to go cheap, you got to go expensive. So I bought the cheap tile saw, but I think I spent like $40 on a
on the
blade.
blade. Yep.
And I'll
Yep.
tell you, the one that it comes with works good for like one cut, and then you're done. And I did try buying some of the cheap blades, and I'm like, this is terrible. It's so bad compared to the one that came with. And then I bought like I don't even remember which brand it was, but I think I bought like a $45 blade. And that is like night and day difference.
It is night and day, but also like they do wear out. So like you'll probably buy a blade per job depending on the size of the job. You might go through two. And also you have to look at what type of tile you're cutting and what blade you're buying, because that makes a big difference as well.
Yep. If you're doing porcelain versus marble versus
Because Quep has a very good. I think it's like $40, but it's just for glass, and it's so much better than the originals that are about the same price, in my opinion. Everyone's gonna like what they like, but
yeah, I think I bought it was like a Hot Dog Premium MK Diamond.
yeah,
And that worked really, really well.
you said Black Diamond, right?
MK
MK.
or hot. When I bought it, it was Hot Dog Porcelain Diamond.
Now there is a trick. I believe it's limestone. So if you're cutting tile and you run like a limestone rock through the blade, every couple of cuts it will keep the blade sharper longer. It's limestone or sandstone. I can't remember, but I used to keep a piece of that rock and I'd just shove it on through and then keep cutting tile.
I'm thinking limestone might be softer than the sandstone. I don't know. Sandstone's pretty soft too.
But I mean, really, it does work.
Yeah, it's like, using the
It cleans the blade, I guess, is what it does. The grit of the,
it's like taking all the dust. Like when you use a bandsaw or
circ saw, and you got to clear out the vents and all that.
Yep.
So, Brandon, what's been your favorite project over the last since we've come on here?
Ooh. I had to say it might have been that car in Florida that I did the carburetors on. That was pretty cool.
And what kind of car was that?
Oh, I forgot the name of it. It's the name of it. Same name as a motorcycle company. It's a car from the UK, little sports car.
Same as a motorcycle.
Yeah, there's a
not like a Alfa Romeo or Jaguar or MG.
Nope.
Yeah, Neil, I know you are kind of a Ryobi fan. They're supposedly coming out with a new cordless Bluetooth speaker.
I mean, I'll be honest, I have Milwaukee ones, but this is the first one I had. And there's even older ones, but to be like this one has a radio. It's got a little strap to actually just put your phone on the back, USB, auxiliary, and it sounds decent. But yeah, they could use some new sound.
And I knew once upon a time you had given away a Makita subcompact impact in one of the giveaways. Makita's coming out with a subcompact cordless bandsaw.
Ooh.
So that'll be interesting if you need a bandsaw and you need a subcompact one. Maybe you're doing conduit, or I mean,
Milwaukee has one though, an M12 and an M18.
So I saw that one.
Oh, and Ryobi has one. I saw it on Tool Review Zone. They have a bandsaw, and he loved that thing too. So
Bosch is supposed to get a 6-port battery charger if you like Bosch, and I do have a couple. I don't need 6. I only have 3 batteries. So
where's Rigid 6-port? I can't take a cordless lineup seriously until they have a 6-port charger.
Well, but you gotta. I didn't read the fine details on it, but if you look at like the Ryobi 6-port charger, it doesn't charge all 6.
No, but neither does my Milwaukee one. So
that's true.
But they're also both fast chargers, so it does roll through the batteries pretty quick.
Let's see. Bosch is supposed to have a compact cordless bandsaw as well.
In fact, I think Hilti might be the only company that charges all. They have a 4-port charger that charges them all together.
Metabo is supposed to come out with a new 10-amp battery.
Whoa!
Slotted as the world's most powerful for its size.
And, I mean, did they just wake up and they're like, you know what? Today we are going to have the most powerful battery.
Right.
Like they just make shit up. I mean,
what's the size of that battery being 10 amps?
Even like, all right, so like the Ryobi subcompact stuff, like they have all those numbers, what it can do. They did all that. That's not what, like, people who have Ryobi, that's not what they're going to use it for. It's you have something that fits into tight spaces now, and there's guys that were in the lineup waiting for that. It's not so much about power and stuff. Like, when I do kitchen installs, now I can actually use them to screw the cabinets together, to screw them into the walls. It has enough power to do that, but they make it seem like, it's going to be like demoing a whole house, the nut busting torque. Sure. All that stuff.
We got Texas Keykeeper in the house tonight. I didn't see him. He's been here for a little while. We got
Ed, the old tech guy.
Yep, Ed, the old tech guy. Hey guys, it's Ed, the old tech guy. How's everybody doing? And he's sorry that he's late. We got Hot Rod Gavin and Walter. Walter's joining us tonight. Neil, I know you do like, or you've looked at, or thought it was intriguing, the Skill line. So they have a larger lineup with the 18-volt, I believe it is, but then they also got the 12-volt lineup.
Yeah.
And so I know that they've bounced around. They have like a 5 toolkit, 12-volt. And it was like 100 and.
It's a good price. It had like an oscillating tool, drill, impact, Bluetooth speaker, and like
at least 2 batteries, if not more.
Yeah, it had one more tool, like a flashlight or something.
Yeah, and I want to say that was like 169 or 179 for a little while.
It fluctuated a lot. I think it even went down to 149 or 159, somewhere there.
So I toiled with wanting to get that one, but never did. But they are bringing back their little power cutter. and it's going to be added to the 12-volt lineup. So, you don't have to have a separate cord and charger like you did the old one.
Yeah, the little 4-volt. Right? Yeah.
Yep. And so they're going to bring it to the 12-volt lineup, and you can use those batteries into that 12-volt lineup. They even have the 4-amp-hour 12-volt battery, not just the 2-amp-hour.
No, I think their batteries are actually made by Ego, because they're owned by Chevron, which owns Ego. So I think that was the biggest improvement Skill made.
So let's talk about that for a second. That's a good segue. So Chevron makes the Cobalt stuff, if you're not familiar with that. And you talked about Chevron making the Ego, which is that outdoor power equipment. So they got their leaf blowers, their mowers, and a couple other things. Actually, quite a few other things. So Ego pulled out of which brand, Neil? Do you remember? Or which store, big box store?
Home Depot, and they went to Lowe's.
Yeah, so they pulled out of Home Depot and went to Lowe's because Home Depot wanted to have like exclusivity or something like that per se.
Right.
So they jumped ship and went right to Lowe's. Now, oddly enough, Home Depot was having some supplier and whatnot issues with stocking its shelves. So I believe I sent you guys a picture a week or two or so ago where I saw some Skill miter saws.
Yeah.
As well as circular saws. And the skinny on that is that they were having supplier issues. They were having trouble stocking their shelves. So they brought in some Skill circular saws and miter saws to just take up some end caps and things like that. And I'm like, you guys are so dumb. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You just pulled out because you didn't want the Ego stuff for exclusivity, and now you're going to bring in just to fill up your end caps.
But not only that, why are they still selling Black & Decker NiCad batteries? Like,
I don't know.
Who the hell's still making those? Like some guys in the shop just like, I'll get them out there.
Well, I'll tell you, we were cleaning the garage and I ran across one of my rigid 12-volt NiCad drills and looked at my wife and she's like, that's got to go. And I go, no, if Bosch does another breakup contest, this is the one slotted for it. So didn't let that one go quite yet tonight, and we still have it.
You should.
I should let it go because I have it. I can use the chemo.
Yeah.
Breakup video.
Be like, just like dirt in the toilet. Be like, this is where this tool belongs, in the toilet. Right. I mean, here's the best thing I can say about chemo. Does it do the job? Yes. But my God, for a brushless tool, and it's just the price. The price confuses me.
It confuses me too. I was thinking about stripping that thing apart and using the brushless motor in one of the kids' power toys. And how that would work out, if I would get any improvement. I don't think I would, because in the little basic testing I did with it, it was not that efficient. But yeah, who knows?
They have a great marketing scheme for Amazon, and enough for me to make me want to buy it. I bought it around Christmas time when I saw it because I'm like, they're everywhere on Amazon, So I might as well buy it and test it out. And I guess if Amazon's pushing it, it has to be half decent. And then it came, and I did a video of it against a brushed Ryobi, but it's a 3-speed impact. And the Ryobi, it killed it. And I was like, well, maybe I should test it against something different. But in reality, no, it was a shitty tool.
So that's how I know if any channel receive that tool for free, or somehow is working with them. If they have a different opinion than I do on it,
It works, right?
It just barely works. Just barely works. I mean, Ed, the old tech guy, got a bunch of chemo stuff given to him, and he didn't think it was that great either.
Nah, I mean and like I said, I think the cordless ratchet is about $90, and
Which, if you look at it and you go, heck, when Home Depot runs their specials, you can get the Husky one for $49.99.
right.
But again, it's, honestly, the majority of people that buy an electric ratchet, they buy it, they use it, and then they're like, crap, it has no power. Literally, I have to.
It's still a ratchet, though.
Just barely. Just barely.
I hate it.
It's by the time you use it for the stuff, it's just too big and bulky, and you might as well just save your money.
I just don't have the torque.
Yeah.
Well, like to change the headlight bulbs on my pickup truck, I gotta take the grill off and remove about, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 millimeter bolts. That electric ratchet, I just stick it on there and I can use it something else too, but the biggest thing I use it for is under pedestal sinks, because those are a pain in the freaking butt to put up and take down if you have to do it day in and day out. So for me to stick, I have Craftsman Phillips head bits that go on it, or the hex end. You stick it up there, zoop, zoop, it's off. No screwing around.
But see, that's where you just put the hex socket adapter on your impact, and you get the same effect. Or you put it on your right angle drill.
Well, I didn't have one till now, so
it just depends on what you have and what other tools and how cheap you are or how thrifty you are, and I don't know.
I mean, I had a stubby ratchet, but still, you go up under the sink and you're doing this for, it takes a while.
Yeah.
So,
as long as that's just underneath the sink.
well, a couple days a week too, but
as long as you can get your electric ratchet to do more than one thing for you. Because I honestly wouldn't use it for a sink. I purely would think of it for automotive uses, and then I'm done.
Well, I kept having, like, not just me, but the other I saw a guy one day 4 hours to take off a pedestal sink, and I was like, there has to be an easier way. So what did I do? I bought that hammerhead right angle impact, but the head's too big to stick under there. So then finally I landed on cordless ratchet.
It works.
It works.
That's the thing. Somebody had to think of what they were going to use to market, or what use case it was really going to be beneficial on. And sometimes, I mean, they get it wrong when they go to marketing, where that Husky electric ratchet would work really good working on bicycles.
Yeah.
Not necessarily automotive, but it's just different things. So somebody asked in the chat, Small Engine Nation, is that a mint green icon box? Yes.
It is.
That is a green and black 36-inch with a 22-inch side cab. And I'm waiting I can't decide if I should get another 22-inch side cab for the other side, or if I should just get another 36-inch. And I don't know. We'll see. Haven't decided. I think I might just get a 22, because then it'll be long enough to end right there. And so that's probably what we'll get. But if you
got plenty of boxes now.
Yeah.
Tool cart, toolbox, toolbox.
Yeah, I never got rid of my where is it? Right there, because that's my 5-drawer service cart. And then on the other side of the garage over there, I have my old Craftsman one, because I never got rid of that one. But yeah, you can never have enough toolbox space. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty much full on everything I have over there already. And I have too much stuff. Like that stuff all right there has to go through. I have to figure out where I'm going to put all that because, like I said, we were cleaning tonight and still don't have enough space. But that's what happens when you downsize from a 3-stall car garage to 2. So don't ever try to do that. Don't ever have more kids and have to downsize your garage. But that's life. I have a 5-drawer Harbor Freight cart that's green. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe should have got a green one, but I got a red one. They make an orange one.
I mean, Harbor Freight only had that color in stock when I went and bought that one, so that's why I bought that one. I wanted it in blue.
Yeah, the blue one's pretty.
At least it matches my jack.
Oh, your Daytona jack?
Yep.
I gotta buy a decent jack.
That Daytona one's pretty nice. It's heavy though, so if you gotta use it to pack it around or stuff, it's probably not the right one. But it is heavy.
We got Robert Water joining us tonight. How's it going, Robert?
What's up, Robert?
Like, you know, I can fit under both of my vehicles, but I'm also just fat enough where it's like just a little too tight. So if I could jack it up just one, you know,
Right.
click there.
That's pretty key.
But, you know, I'm also pretty much a plumber, and we fit in some spaces that you just would not imagine we could fit in. And I've seen plumbers, you know, 2-3 times as big as me that get back in corners that you just, they're like, oh yeah, let me take care of that. And you're like, how's that going to work? And boom, they do it.
I don't know how.
Plumbers out there.
Not even just plumbers, it like almost all professions.
It's like they just morph into like, I don't know, it's
Like that pedestal sink you were talking about. Man, I've given my wife a wrench or something like that, and she's just got little kid hands. And it's like, get up there and do that. And then it's like she's not strong enough in one sense, or something that you got to wiggle around, get in between the radiator or something, and she can fit her little
Right.
hand in there, and I can't do it. And I'm like, so I don't have the biggest hands, but like some people out there that, you know, they're like 6'5" and they have hands that are ginormous, and you're like, how would have they gotten this done?
but they do it. They're like, with like their one, it's magical. They're like, you see those magic people doing, or there's people doing magic in the streets and stuff, like the good ones, not the bad ones. That's how they are. You think they're magicians.
That is life, though.
That is life. But it is fun. So what are we on? Like season 2, 3 of Tool Talk Saturday?
That's why I didn't name it. Or what are we considering this? 3 or?
I would say we're going into season 3. I think our timing should be from, I mean, hopefully we can start them in September and then just kind of carry it through the winter.
Yeah, because it slows. Because we get busy in the spring and summer months, and we ain't getting the views in the spring and summertime months anyway. So,
You know, you could call this like season 18 or 22 or like whatever you want. The higher the number, the more legitimate it sounds.
right?
Well, how's it do? Like, maybe we should think more things on the podcast side too, like like the talking and subjects and that.
We always keep saying we're going to figure that out, but we have not figured that out. We haven't talked about it yet.
I mean, we're 3 dudes with 3 different lives, just trying to make this work, right?
Yep. I mean, it can go a bunch of different ways. I don't think there's ever a time when we could all review some of the same products at the same time, so that we can not only talk about them. If somebody wants to go see exactly what we're talking about, they can jump back to Neil's channel or Brandon's channel or my channel or something of that nature. So that's always really difficult to do. And
Or, I mean, we're 3 guys with 3 different backgrounds, so maybe just bringing 1 or 2 tools per week or per month.
Yeah.
And just kind of giving our opinions on it because not everyone in the chats watches every one of our channels. So,
And as Robert Waters says, it's hard to keep buying tools to review as well.
well, Robert Waters, he has a boss that is an asshole and
Yeah.
underpays him, doesn't give him vacation days. So, yeah, I understand that would be problematic probably for him.
But I hear that's his own choice too.
It might be.
Yeah. I mean, life's tough for every one of us. And if we didn't have something to complain about, then it wouldn't be a great life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we get everything we want. We don't have anything to complain about. That's probably when life isn't so great.
That's not living.
Yeah, that's not living at all.
You gotta have your ups and downs.
You got to make your own drama.
It's gotta be like a Dr. Seuss book.
I do wish I could shoot my little boss at times.
We don't want that to happen.
Hey, what he does in his own time, that's his that's his life. We don't pry. If you were gonna do some things like that, I don't know if you would get very many views on a live stream.
Now, like, is your boss also like in your like personal, sexual life too? How's that work out?
That's a complete different question, and for another time.
Nah, that's just a joke. But
well, as far as that, I mean, I think the whole this pandemic thing that we've had and whatnot, I think it's caused a lot of people and companies to refocus a little bit. It's caused a slowdown in some new product being released. It's I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I mean, if you look at where we were a year and a half ago, there was a tremendous fast pace of everybody getting whatever they want, whenever they want it. It seemed like the economy was doing perfect. And it was like, well, nobody's complaining about anything. But now we've had a chance to sit back and I don't know. I don't mind some of the slower pace things. I don't mind waiting for a couple things, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And actually, that's a very good point because, like, if you've, kind of avoid everything else that's going on in the world, maybe everyone taking a step back will be, good for everything, really. But even like with my tool purchases, yeah, like, now I'm like, I don't really want to review that, just like,
or like think about, I mean, nobody likes to talk about eating healthy and stuff like that, or maybe everybody like going out to eat. Well,
stop that.
I don't do that as much anymore, which is a good thing. You switch your habits a little bit. I mean, I used to, as an outlet, go look at tools, just browse through, pick up some clearance items that I totally didn't need. And now I don't even get a chance to get out 3 times a week like I used to.
Right.
Now, if I get out once, that's a good thing. And I didn't necessarily shift to buying more tools on Amazon either, which is a good thing.
Because because even Amazon, like, you go on there and you're looking at the tools and you read the reviews and you're like yeah, I don't know. I like it's not a necessity, or just I don't know. It just all seems the same old to me. Like, nothing's really caught my eye.
I mean, I'll tell you, things had slowed down for me for a while there. It was like the Client Graphics channel used to break a bunch of tools, and then there was a long grace period, and then we came back hard and strong with the pass-through ratchets, and then people just went, whoosh, whoa, this is what I came for. And it was like, oh, that felt kind of good. But now it's still like, I still owe so many different ratchets. I got my Matco ones that I have to break. I have my Mac Tools one that I have to break. I have some cheapy ones up here that I need to go through. I just haven't been feeling it. I mean, I don't know. Put different priorities in line with what it is, and I don't know. I haven't been as stressed, which has been good.
Yeah, I feel a little more like, everything just seems slowed down. I don't know. The other thing too is I'm on here tonight with you, fine gentlemen, but I have such a love-hate relationship with technology and the internet and what I feel it's done to people. Not to get too deep or anything, but
yeah. So Ed was saying, he used to like going to the hardware store and looking around. He'd get 10,000 steps in a day, and now he's not doing that. So, I mean, that's the thing. I used to get up. I used to have to get up 45 minutes to an hour before work. I'd have to drive for 25 minutes, have to find a parking spot. Then I'd have to walk to work. And that it's not the same since schools aren't in session.
I will say driving is a lot easier now because half the assholes are off the road.
Yep. So right there, commute's cut down. If I'm not going out to eat, then I'm staying in. So I'm a little bit more productive. Sometimes I just work through lunch. Sometimes I nibble and work, and it means I'm coming home a little bit earlier, except for I tell you, people still need something at 4:30 on a Friday. Or it's been a slow day all day, and then the last hour, it's like, oh, we're doing all the work for the whole entire day in the last 59 minutes. Okay.
I was at work on Friday, and I got bounced between a few properties, and they decided to tear up a main road on a Friday and repave it. And I'm like, what fucking idiot figured this would be great in the middle of a Friday, I mean, and I'm not mad at the guys doing it. They have to do it. I get that. It's just whoever thought of that, it's like.
Well, Robert mentioned that he was saving money by not being able to go out with his girlfriend anymore. So I will tell you, Robert, I learned a long time ago that I don't like disappointing two women. So, I mean, one's good enough for me. So I just stick to one. That was supposed to be a joke, though.
No, I would. Yeah, my wife is all I need.
Yep. You're still driving, though. So I guess some people aren't driving. I just don't know what it's going to do. Like, I've been to the pawn shops, and something's still got to be going pretty decent around me, because I have not seen the plethora of tools that I would expect to see from people hurting with the economy yet.
Is your pawn shop empty? All the pawn shops here are almost empty with all the stuff.
They're still full, but they're not anything good. It's not necessarily tools. I don't know what they're buying. It's nothing that I'm looking at, and it's not video games. So I don't know. They're not empty, but they're not full of tools.
Probably because there's people that I'll keep that one to myself, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean,
so here's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I've seen very rich people shopping for tools at like Home Depot and stuff. Guys that pull up in Teslas and Land Rovers and stuff like that. And they usually buy, Milwaukee tools. And I'm always like, what the fuck they doing buying Milwaukee? And it's probably just because, like, if they're friends, like, maybe they are really good at something, right? But if they're like, it's that name, right? The name. It's going to determine whether you're good or bad at what you do. That's what a lot of people think. A lot of guys. I'd say 95% though.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a popularity contest. It's like people didn't get through high school and enjoy that good enough. Now they got to buy the what they think is the best tool out there because of the name. I see how it is. It's all like high school all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. Though. Like, there's a lot. Like, I get ripped on all the time because I like Ryobi. You can't use that professionally. Like, that's what homeowners use. You're going to go to a person's house and do $60,000 in renovations using Ryobi, which is probably what's sitting out in their garage. And it's like, yeah, but they don't know how to fucking use the tools. That's the difference. If they did, they'd be doing it themselves, right? So, I mean, I really, that's probably the biggest thing on my channel is, you know, I do use Milwaukee and I do use Ryobi, but like, you should never be ashamed of what you're using as long as you know how to use it.
Right.
And the reality is, if you know how to use one brand's tool, you can probably figure out how to use another one.
Yeah, they're all the same. I mean, they're pretty much all the same to me.
You're not cool if you do not use Milwaukee tools. Only use Ryobi from what I see on YouTube. Which the funny thing is some of the people that do some of the best work, they've never watched YouTube a day in their life.
Exactly. And if you use Milwaukee, yeah, maybe you're the cool guy. But if you use Ryobi, you got a huge dick. So
or at least you have a lot of money left over, unless you bought the entire lineup.
I do not have close to the entire lineup because it is huge.
That's what I've heard. That's what you said. 175 plus huge.
Yeah, and I'm maybe at not even a quarter of that.
You're good with 9, 12.
I mean, probably in the 20 range.
Yep. It's not the quantity that counts either.
Rots my brain, but it is cheaper than drugs. Shaka Gillis. I mean, that guy only can drop $2 tips because he's tool broke. Let's be honest there.
You know what? He donates.
If that dude was a baller, he'd be dropping fucking 20s all day long and say Ryobi sucks. But he drops $2 because he's tool broke, and that's all he can afford.
The way I look at it, $2 is better than nothing. I mean, if he consistently shows up and does $2 every time, think about it. If he does that 4 or 5 times a week, that's $10 a week. That's a couple takeout meals here or there. He's doing himself a good job.
I guess so. I don't know. I picture him with a vagina, but you know.
Do you actually picture him with Ryobi tools?
I bet you he uses Harbor Freight. Is my assumption. And then he does that to make himself feel better. Because he's never like said I'm loyal to what brand. He just says Ryobi's is trash. So I don't need a Shaka Gillis donation, and I'm sure he doesn't know who the hell I am anyway, so I don't care. But I just find it funny.
You know what? Everybody's got to find a tool that works for them. And the funniest one I ever heard was, I asked a guy that was working on some gutters for me. I was like, so how do you like your DeWalt stuff? And he's like, yeah, I only use my DeWalt for work. At home, I buy and use all Milwaukee. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, so you use DeWalt for work, but you use Milwaukee at home?
I forget where I was the other day on some live stream or something, and Brett Junk from Works, and I've seen like pure snap-on fucking mechanics, and they're like, but I buy like Harbor Freights, and that's the ones that I put out in the harder situations. It's like, so you're not using the expensive tools to get through the tough stuff. You're buying cheap tools to get you through that.
Okay. Whatever works. It's one of those where it's like, well, yeah, but it's easier to warranty this one or what. I don't know, whatever.
I like cheap tools for modifying for things. You don't want to tear up an expensive grinding it down to make another tool.
I get that.
It's funny. I mean, and then I've had guys show up that they've run Ryobi and it works they all do the same thing. Some just take a little bit longer than the others. I mean, it's like some people that run around in their shop without shoes on, and then people are quick to jump on them. You're like, you must not really work in a real workplace if you're going to not wear shoes. Well, I can tell you, Brandon does whatever he wants to do. I tell you, one of my biggest
hours. I'm not working on anything.
Not only that, go down south. How many guys in shops actually wear shoes? Shorts, shirts. I don't think they wear shirts mostly.
One of my biggest.
I do not wear a shirt that often unless a customer shows up. If I'm working out here by myself, I work shirtless in the summertime. It's too darn hot.
I wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, Neil, can you just imagine showing up at some of the apartments without your shirt on and be like, all right, guys, I'm here. I'm going to fix. Oh, you need to put a shirt on, please.
I mean, it's like, well, you'd have like, all those girls, like, I don't know. These young kids nowadays are just fucking weird to me. So that's all I'm going to say.
You know what? Maybe they're normal and you're not. I'm not sticking up for them. I'm just saying. No, they're weird. You're right.
Hold on. So
you're funny, Robert. You're funny.
I definitely am weird. That's fine, but I'm not like weird around people because, like, we went and I had our office promises things to help people move into apartments. So I got to do whatever those fucking promises are. So they got these people to move into this apartment, and the last thing they painted the bathrooms and stuff, laid a floor, all that shit. And in the one bathroom, there's an old medicine cabinet. So I took that out, and it's one of the old ones that had like direct power into a light bar on the top, So for a couple weeks, they had just like a live line hanging down with no medicine cabinet and a hole in their wall. So I had to go in there Friday and put a medicine cabinet in and a light bar, and then put a switch and a GFI and, wire that all up. Which would have made a great video, but I can't do that because they're all home. Everyone's home. But they seem so inconvenienced. It's like, listen, first of all, I don't find any of you attractive. I don't fucking care about you. I'm in here to put this shit in and then get the fuck out of here. That's it. Like the one girl, I was walking through with some tools. She ran into her room and you could hear her like struggling to lock the door. I'm like,
I have that effect on people too.
Well, it's not that. It's just they're all jittery about everything now because of what they see in the papers and on the news and all this shit. It's like, but the reality is, like, I mean, I'm just here to fix shit. That's it. And then get the fuck out. I don't want to be here any more than you don't want me here. That's the plain truth of it.
Yep, I hear you.
It's tough. I mean, like from 3 years ago, tenants were like so fucking nice 3 years ago. Like offer you water, this, that, have small conversation. Now it's all like, it's the dumbest. I mean, I'm very, very worried about the future of this country.
There's one of my modified wrenches.
That's actually, didn't you do a video on that?
I did it. I posted on Instagram. Couldn't afford no thin wrenches, so I grinded it down. Because if you have a mower carburetor with the fuel shut-off solenoid, you have to have a wrench that will go in between those to loosen them up.
You know, I bought some thin wrenches, and I never use them. But that's the reality there. You can shave down an easy one, and I'd probably grab that 10 times sooner than I'd grab the actual thin wrenches that I bought. Probably because I did the work on it and I figured it should work just the way I need it to. But that's just me. I mean, there's some decent brands out there that make some thin wrenches that just, I don't know. The ones I bought, I never use them.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys know, I'm not a mechanic. Anything I suggest, don't take my fucking word for it. I try and fix as much as I can on my vehicles. So my collections, because there's a lot of odds and ends you have to buy to upkeep vehicles, right? You know, like all these different sockets and ratchets and stuff, and it is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but there's a tool for everything also. That's the bad part.
And there's a tool at every price point that can blow your mind what people would spend on some things.
The only thing I could push on people not in the mechanics trade, because that's not what they are made for, but like Ryobi used to make industrial tools. They have a pretty good, I know it's TTI all mixed in, but I think they have a pretty good team and they think things through very well in like concept. Like even the subcompact on the Impact, you saw there are 3 holes for a tri-beam light. So I'm assuming they probably molded it now so down the line they can integrate it, right? And they're a forward-thinking company, and I think their tools, although might take a little longer to reach the goal of driving a screw or something, but it does it very well, and they last.
Yeah, Robert, if you use your thin wrench every day, then it makes sense that you might buy them. I don't use them every day, and if Brandon used them every day, he probably would buy them too.
A lot meaner in the last few years, absolutely.
Double-sided ratchet from Tractor Supply. Yeah, every now and then you can get some good deals or good things at Tractor Supply.
I think I saw those, and they usually have them in the spots they usually have close to the registers that you impulse buys.
Oh yeah, the impulse.
Come on, let's face it, we've all bought a few things over there.
Yep, that's where I've seen the most WorkPro stuff at Tractor Supply is in the checkout registers. But apparently, some of the WorkPro stuff in there is not real WorkPro stuff.
Well, even at Lowe's, they have the bottom of the barrel bin. And it's not like if you go on Amazon and look at some of the WorkPro stuff, there's decent stuff there to be had.
Like this, let's face it, I'll probably break this the first time I use it. This is a 3/4 inch breaker bar. It was like $9.
That's WorkPro?
No, it came from the Impulse at Tractor Supply.
Impulse style. Is that what it's called? Impulse style.
When you break that, let me know how much force you were putting on it. Because the reality is even that's a breaker bar. So even the cheaper ones, I don't think I've even broken a cheap 3/4 inch.
I mean, I've heard some people use the cheap Harbor Freight ones, and they just keep going and going and going and going.
If it works, it works. I mean,
Pittsburgh Pro, that's it.
They're so cheap. I mean,
He mentioned ones from Norman Bull's brand, the clutch ones being pretty good.
Yeah, the clutch ones aren't too bad. A lot of their stuff is made by Titan Tools. or rebranded from a couple different manufacturers.
More.
Robert Waters says, I would not think a 3/4 breaker bar that short could be broken.
Yeah.
With a long enough pipe, I mean.
Yeah.
I've been on like watching some TikTok stuff and like the trades and whatnot. And there's some guys that put like a breaker bar on something and then use a bucket of like a cat bulldozer
To push down.
yeah, and it works. And it's like, holy heck.
I mean, if I ever go up to 1/2 inch, I mean, I'd have to, I don't know, I'm going to have to make something. Probably have to make kind of like a hydraulic press to push down on them because it's just not fun. It's real, even with the bigger bar on a 1/2 inch. I mean, some of the stuff that I played with was 700-800 pounds, and that snap is quite a bit. So
yeah, I can imagine.
oh,
Those crescents are very nice on the left there.
oh, Brandon, look at you. Somebody else bought some of those.
You can't help it when they mark it down to like $4.99, stuff like that. You can't really help it.
You know, I did a video on these at Tractor Supply, and I was like, look at these tiny tools. They're really expensive. Like, these were like $8.99 when they first came out. And I'm like, who would buy like this tool for like $7 or $8? But when it's $3.99, I'm gonna buy it.
Right?
So yeah, I had to buy all 3 of them. They were like $3.99. So I was like, wow, $12 for all 3 of them.
what size that black oxide one?
This is a 1/2 inch jaw capacity. It's about 4 inches. So 4 inch with a 1/2 inch size. This is a 5 inch and a 4.5 inch jaw capacity.
I have those also.
So the nice thing about these, and I haven't even taken them out of the package, I'm going to put, Brandon, so these, they're all small enough from what I've measured to go in my 1/4 inch Tecton set.
Yeah.
In the side pocket, and that's pretty much by bar none. I get pretty much all the tools I need right there.
So the kid I work with, you know, he was borrowing my tools for probably like the first year, and I kept telling him to buy tools, but you know, a younger kid and stuff. So I went to Home Depot one day, and you know, I spent about $120 just hooking him up with like a good tool bag, and I bought him Husky tools, which, you know, to be honest, like for what I do, they work, man. I like Husky hand tools.
There's nothing wrong. They got a decent warranty, and if they've discontinued it in the store, you got to do their online stuff. And the last couple times that I've had to warranty things, they basically cut you a electronic card for a relatively decent price of what the item was.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, like a hammer's a hammer, a wrench is a wrench in my profession. So,
Robert, what I use these for is on these Nicky carburetors, those screws that seize in there. I usually clamp onto them and break the torque before pulling out the driver.
No, those are going to fit right in the little side cubby there. Close that up with that Tecton tool set, and
yeah,
that's one of Brandon's favorite ones, right there. That 1/4 inch set. That's made him a lot of money.
Yeah, heck yeah.
For 50. Brandon? What did you pay 55 for yours? I think mine was like 54 for the new one.
I think so. I bought it 3 years ago, so
it might have been a little bit less or more. I don't know.
I want to buy the newer one now. Upgrade.
Or side grade, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some of the older sockets were a little bit stronger. The newer ones might have a little bit bigger stamping / etching, but it's all subjective for the most part. Tell you that doesn't move very good, but what do you expect for a $4 tool?
I'll look into that, Robert. I really do need a better screwdriver set for taking apart those carburetors.
Brandon, even the Tecton ones aren't too bad. Honestly, they're made in the USA and they warranty them out just like their other tools. And you can get the ones that have the hard handle. You can get the tri-lobed comfort grip ones, and they're not too bad.
I hear the gunsmithing screwdrivers are good for carburetor jets.
Yeah.
So I thought about investing in some of those too.
Yeah, they can get a little bit pricey,
Yeah.
but you just have to look and watch.
I know, Ed. Me and Robert, we joke with each other all the time. That's like me and Mick Smowers.
Okay, I think I'm finally happy with my Tecton set now. Put those little 4 and 5 inch tools in the side cubby and good to go.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I'll probably do that too. I never even thought about that because that Tecton set is my go set. If I go to the junkyard or something, that's the set I grab.
Yep.
I got that set, but I don't like the cases on the Blue Points. They break too easy. The caseless do.
They warranty the Blue Point ones though with the dealer.
Yeah,
You know that- I miss
I had it. It's hard to see.
are those the ones you had?
For screw, yeah, those are exactly what we have. See,
So-
we can do videos all the time. We have all the same tools.
So, to be honest with you, I don't have a Tractor Supply around me, but these were on Amazon for like $6.99. So,
Oh, you paid more than us.
yeah, but yeah. So like to be honest though, like these Crescents here, especially these ones, work really well. I think they're 8-inch. You know, I was impressed with them. I tested them out at work, but these ones, I almost like better than my Knipex because
The grips on those are nicer. I like those.
well, we do like shower controls and stuff. So like when you have to take handles and stuff off, instead of like taking a handle puller with you, it's nice and gripped, and you kind of line these up here to get around the stem and just kind of bang them off. So the jaws aren't too big either. So like I really, really highly recommend them and very much like them. The other thing too I miss is having Irwin and Stanley at Walmart. They have some good deals. But I also bought this Crescent ratcheting wrench, and it works like a turd. So
Is that the one that's supposed to self-adjust or something?
yeah, I saw the Wera.
Robert.
Audubon Dan did the Wera Joker, or they have like a ratcheting one, and it worked really well. So I was like, yeah, Crescent makes good stuff, so I might as well try this out. No, it's
Some of the Home Depot Husky boxes in their Pro lineup, the black ones with the stainless steel tops are pretty sweet looking.
Yeah.
They have one that has a flip top. I think it's like either a 56 or a little bit bigger one. Had my eye on that one, although I don't need another toolbox.
What
But
about that $1,000 one that I showed y'all a while back? That would take up probably the whole into my shop.
Was that the one with the hutch?
No, I think it was just the bottom, but it took up my whole shop.
Is that the 73-inch Husky one with the stainless steel top?
I think so.
It's not that bad. It's pretty nice.
At that size for that price, that's a good deal.
It really is. I mean, and it's even cheaper than the Harbor Freight one if you think about it.
Yeah.
Let me look what that one was. I don't know. They had one with a hutch too. That was pretty darn nice. Except for it's not as deep, but depending on how you're using it and what you're using it for, you don't need the deepest toolbox. You just need to make sure that you don't tip it over.
When I bought this one, they didn't have that hutch one out there yet. But like the year after that, they had the hutch one out, and it's only like $100 more than I paid for that top box and that bottom. I paid like $300 some for that setup right there. And then they came out with that hutch setup, which was like right at $500 or something like that. So I was like, where was that back then? I would have bought it.
Robert, I'm not saying he doesn't need a new top box, and I'm not saying I don't need a new one. I already have a new one, and I'm trying to figure out how I can either get another 22-inch side cabinet like that for that 36, or if I should get another 36. But I don't know. The 22 will be kind of nice, but if I have two 36s and then at 22, that's a pretty big, long toolbox. It's kind of like, I don't know, what's the math on that? It's like 98 inches or something. What is that? Oh, 94. It'd be 94 inches with two 36s and a 22.
So are you happy with your Icon box so far?
Yeah. That it hasn't treated me anything wrong. I'm still waiting for replacement drawers so I can get rid of all those skinny ones right there.
Yeah.
I can take 3 of them and go down to 1. Yeah, just buy 2 new boxes when your wife is not paying attention and install them in the kitchen. Yeah, we need a movable island. You know, if I put some white quartz on top, you won't know.
Antonio's got what, like 2 big toolboxes in his kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got at least 1 in a roll cab, but it's been a while. And like every Harbor Freight tool.
Yeah. He's got a very understanding wife.
I'm just waiting for somebody to like do a mock-up of a Harbor Freight aisle in their house or garage or something like that. That would be pretty interesting.
I think Antonio could do that.
Or not just necessarily Harbor Freight, anything, whether it be like a Husky socket wall or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Husky's also, so Robert said his wife wants one of the Husky adjustable work tables for the kitchen. And they do have quite a few different work tables that I've seen.
Those are nice too.
I've heard people talking about them for like adjustable work desks that because they're a nice top. They really are.
Real nice top.
And then they have ones that are just the work, like you said, the work table, that there's just like a little shelf underneath them. It's pretty nice. And they're a decent price.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with Husky, for the price.
It really just depends on which place is closest to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Husky might work well. Master Force from Menards might work well.
I've heard a lot of people saying good things about the Heart boxes.
I haven't seen any of the Heart boxes that I can recall.
I haven't either, but I guess, I've had a few subscribers say they bought them, they really like them, work well.
To me, they seem very close to the Husky, some of the Husky ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cheaper ones, of course, but because they do like what is it, the 46-inch work top or something like that, and they have a couple different versions of it. They got one that's like 349, which is the higher end one, and then they got one that's like 249 or 299, and you can tell a big difference on the gauge of the metal and the way the drawers roll and close. And then they have, I think they have some international ones too. But I'll be interested to see what Lowe's rolls out with their Cobalt boxes. Usually they have a couple specials that they'll have during the holiday season.
Yeah, Cobalt stuff's good.
And they have, is it a 46 or somewhere? It's very close to the Milwaukee toolbox, the smaller one, not the bigger one, but they look a lot like. And I keep seeing that stainless steel. Is it the which one? Which size do you have, Neil? Is it a 40-inch Milwaukee one?
Well, hold on one second. I'll be honest. I think it's a 40 or 42.
You?
Let's take a quick measurement of
I
that.
think I keep seeing that one on sale at Home Depot for like $4.98 or something like that.
40. Yeah, 40-inch.
Yeah, that one continues to be on sale for like $4.98 at Home Depot, which I think you paid maybe a couple $100 more.
What's that now? Like 300?
$4.98.
498? Well, that's what I bought mine for.
Oh, $4.98.
Yeah.
If it goes down to like 348, 349, I'll buy one without approval.
I mean, you know, I can't say that it's any better quality than the Husky. I don't really think it is, but like I like it. It works for what I need.
I think it's pretty nice. It gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the top one split. Gives you that stainless steel top, the solid back, so you can lock everything up should you need to, even if you don't need to. That way, if you need to move it around, nothing comes out.
That was definitely a me purchase. You know, that was like a.
It's a decent tool storage thing. Although the 61-inch 11 drawer mobile workstation is pretty nice that they have.
Yeah, that one is. Now, what about that Yukon at Harbor Freight that keeps going like on sale and that jumps up really high and then?
It's really close to the Husky one.
Is it?
Yeah, they trade blows a little bit back and forth with, the doors or the this or that, but they're kind of essentially very, very close. Or at least in my mind, they are. They both got that.
Not a bad looking box, though.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to figure out if you're going to be able to fit it in whatever vehicle you have, or if you got to borrow a buddy's pickup, or if you don't have any friends, you got to go get a U-Haul, or, borrow the pickup from Menards or Home Depot or whoever rents them out for $29.95 for 80 miles or something like that and call it a day. I mean, the reality is not everybody has a pickup, and everybody may want one, and not everybody has a friend that has one that's running at the time that they need it.
I went big and got a 1-ton.
I will say the best is, like, I have my pickup truck, and I don't mind if people use it to move. But that's the whole thing is I'll give you my pickup truck to move, but I'm not helping. So, yeah, how's that Ford that you got there, Brandon?
It's actually pretty good. I figured out all the wiring issues. It's an old farm truck, and they butchered the wires. Stuff you do on a farm just to keep something going.
Yeah.
So I had to fix a lot of wiring.
It's what, 7.3?
Yeah, IDI.
How many miles are on that thing?
Yeah, it's close to 400,000. The engine's been rebuilt already.
Same transmission?
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't do a bunch of burnouts with it or try to pull out a stump.
Oh, it does have a leak, and it will be going to the transmission shop, and probably within the next few months. We do a lot of work and a lot of dealing with the transmission shop guy, so he's giving us a huge discount. So
You just got to see if your transmission fluid by the quart's cheaper.
yeah. Well, it's $1,200 to get the transmission refilled. We paid $1,200 for the truck. So in the end, we'll have like $2,400 into the truck.
Is it cheaper if you give them the transmission without the truck?
It might, but they don't like to hold over the warranty on it.
Yeah, I hear that. They'd rather be responsible for all the work.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on. I mean, a lot of ours around here, if you bring them a transmission, they'll rebuild it and they'll warranty it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. Like I was talking a lot. Like I haven't put any money in my Kia Borrego, and this year I put a pretty penny into it at 11 years old. So
Got to see if that works for you. We're what are we? We're in year 2 into ours, and it's just general maintenance. We do all that. So
first 11 years, that's exactly what I did.
Yep.
So I was all right with it. You know, I knew it was coming, and I just got back the other day, and man, it's running like the day I got it. So,
that's great.
yeah, can't complain.
I've been happy with. So I have a 2008 Ford, and I haven't done too many major things on it other than ball joints, control arms, some struts and shocks. I did AC once. There's some wires jiggly in the clutch on there, and I might get a new coil pack thing for it, but I don't know. We'll see. It works right now.
So back in like 95, my dad bought a Ford Exploder just to test out an SUV. You know, that's when they're like kind of first getting big, right? And that Ford Exploder went from us to my aunt to my cousin to my uncle, and it made it all the way to like it had like 270,000 miles on it when it finally died, which was crazy to me because people, you know, it's called a Ford Exploder for a reason.
When I got my first car, it was not anything super pretty, but it was like, well, it didn't have over 100,000 miles on it. So, you know, I still had a couple thousand miles I could go before it destroys and self-destructs. And I'll tell you, I mean, it seemed like clockwork when it hit over 100,000 miles back in the 80s. It was like, okay, well, it sounds like you're going to blow a head gasket, or you're going to, you know, your radiator's you're going to have a bad hose, or your water pump's going to go out, or something's going to be, well, and it did. It did. I blew the cork gasket between the radiator and the thermostat. And
really?
Yep. And it was like we were replacing it every 6 months after that.
I will say, like, you know how they say, like, after 100,000 miles, your car starts, like, breaking in? And that's one thing I've noticed with the Borregos, like everything just feels very nice now. Like, broken in, responsive. I don't know how to explain it, but
I drive my wife's new car, and it's like, ooh, this thing's too sensitive. I turn the steering wheel a little bit, that thing responds. I like my old car.
You hit the brakes and it stops.
You hit the brakes and it stops. You start turning, and it decides to catch up a little bit later, and it's just well broken in. It's got a low detonation or idle ping to it, where I've ran with ethanol, without, and when it's like 60 degrees out and you just give it a little go, it's got a little hesitation, little low ping to it. Can't get that thing to go away.
So I have a question for you guys because you're both car guys and work on them and stuff. On my Dodge Ram, the air conditioner I feel stopped working, and the heater when I put it on is just like a very loud noise. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like just was never there before, and it blows out a lot of shit at me out of the vents. So is it self-destructing?
This is all the stuff out. I'm wondering if your cabin filter is stopped up.
So
I don't think you have one.
I don't have a cabin filter, and I just replaced the air filter last oil change I did.
You'd have to kind of look in your vents and go a little bit farther down and see if maybe you had something that was hanging out and resting and sleeping in there, or if your blower motor deciding to go out on you.
I think it's the blower motor because it's just like it doesn't smell like anything dead, just smells bad. And
yeah, I just go for your blower motor. Just start taking your glove compartment off and just working your way up there, and hopefully it's not more than four or eight screws. Drop that out, take a look around. Of course, price what a new one is before. You probably don't. I mean, it's not whining or anything, but start looking around, making sure there's nothing nesting or hanging out in any of the vents. If it's not quite as hot, you might look at your heater core. Nobody likes to. I've flushed them before. They don't.
The heater works. The air conditioning definitely doesn't work anymore.
Does the clutch still turn on or not?
I think the problem is like when I turn my heater on, even though the AC is off, I feel like the clutch to the AC is running or something from the AC is running.
What year is it again?
It's 2014.
Oh, well, that's pretty new. You could hook up your gauges and see if you're low on Freon, what your pressure is. And then if you have a leak, I don't touch. I'll pay somebody to do AC.
I'll do one of those bottles. If that doesn't work, then you
can stick that on there and see if your pressure's good, but that'd be where I'd start. But well, I mean, you'll know if you shine a light down, you can see when the AC is not on, the clutch should just be spinning.
Or use that scope that you got.
Yeah, I guess I could use that.
Those vents and see if
yeah, I could do that.
You could do that with the vents. That's a good idea, Brandon.
That's a very good idea. I didn't even think of that.
But a lot of newer places, when they look at if your clutch isn't kicking on, and they won't replace the little magnetic coil that goes behind there, they'll sell you a whole new compressor. So you'll just have to watch out. Some of the older shops will do just that piece for you, and some of them will say, nope, you got to buy a whole new compressor, even though you could get just the part that you want. They'll usually say, it's old enough, or there's, it's just better to go with all those parts. But then you got to buy your evaporator, your dryer, or whatever you want to call it, and you got to spend a little extra here or there, and then you get a little extra for doing the Freon removal and then re-adding it.
Such bullshit on a truck that has 54,000 miles on it.
Yeah, does that only have like a 3-year 36 on it?
Well, I bought it used. I bought it 3 or 4 years ago. So
it'd be interesting. I don't know what some of the warranties are on those, if it's covered under like a 5-year 60,000.
I was thinking just taking it into Dodge, seeing what they said, and be like, is this like this shouldn't happen at 50,000 miles,
So I mean, it's worth a try. I mean, if it was me, I would check to see if it's under warranty first.
Yeah, I think that's where I'll start.
Because otherwise you're going to pay at least 85 to 115 just for a diagnosis. And you don't want to waste their time. They'll take your money, but if you're not going to get it repaired because your compressor, if they're going to do a compressor on there, probably going to be like $700 to $1,100. And you may not want to spend that.
Oh man, I should have just kept my Toyota, but
I mean, it might be cheaper, might be more or less. It just depends. I don't know what the compressor runs on there. And I don't know what they're going to charge you for parts either. Just because you can go to the parts store and pick one up for $150 doesn't mean that they're going to sell you $150 part.
I should probably just have my father-in-law look at because he is a mechanic. I don't know.
Well,
I hate asking him to do stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Robert,
guys,
warranty is overpriced.
bill 2 hours only.
2 hours?
Yeah.
All right, that works.
I promised you that we wouldn't go over 2 hours, and we did go over 2 hours, like by 6 minutes, but we didn't do a 3 to 4 hour stream. So,
No, this is good. I think we got a lot of good info out there.
yeah.
Well, let's see.
Knocking the rust off.
We should
Right.
put this up with a couple of things in there. Robert said warranty is just overpriced toilet paper.
Right?
I guess it just depends on how often you need the warranty or what product you're buying. I mean, Snap-on builds in a warranty for their tool, and I don't know any new car that doesn't come with a warranty, so I don't know. What was your AC doing again?
It's just not working. It's not coming on.
So hopefully you just had a leak, but it could be more catastrophic than that. I mean, at least yours wasn't like mine. Mine sheared off the bolt that hold the clutch on mine, and then a Google search was like, "Oh, this has happened to about 3 other people."
If Robert says it, it must be true, right?
Yeah, well, we're selling it. Everyone who shows up, all their information gets sold to China and Russia.
Right.
Well, that's just Brandon. I have nothing to do with that portion of it.
Well, yeah, but we're in agreement to it.
No, we're not. That's their collusion up there. Their collusion, not mine.
AC is I actually I don't run my AC very often. It's just when I was fiddling with trying to kind of diagnose it, I was seeing if both were running, and stuff like that.
Well,
yeah.
I feel like I wasn't a rich person for a while because I had my wife and my daughter. They were the only ones with working AC, not Dad.
But women are always cold, so it's like they don't even run the fucking AC anyways.
Oh, they run it so they are always cold.
Exactly. And I will say one thing about dads, man. I am tuned into my home thermostat. I'm always, floating around that thing, seeing where the temperature's set, why it's set that way.
Oh, you got to get a Wi-Fi one where you can get an app and you can look at it.
I do. I have the Honeywell Wi-Fi one, so I could do it on my phone and stuff.
Yep, that's the one with that says 72 degrees on it or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have a Honeywell one too. It was the easiest upgrade from the one. It was just a digital, and it honestly, mine just dropped right in. It had all the wires. I just unplugged the old one, plugged the new one in.
I had the wire in the controller in the actual unit. I just had to go down, put it in, to get all the set. And my parents have a place in Florida, so we go down there once every winter, usually, not this year or last year. So when you're coming home and you had your temperature set at 50 degrees while you're gone, as you land, I can turn it up to whatever, and then the house will be heated when you get home.
Yep, it's a very handy thing.
It's convenient. Or if I'm in the bedroom, I'm a little bit too hot, I can just pick up my phone.
It, as Robert Waters says, AC's for people with too much money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or
I've yet to
just,
have a work truck with working AC.
Except
spend wisely.
for I bought my wireless control unit the day after Thanksgiving on one of their Black Friday specials. I think mine was like $74.
I got mine for under $100 for sure. It was like $89 when I bought mine. The Honeywell.
It was between that or the Nest, and I'm like, I don't need all the graphing and the.
Well, the Nest was weird to me because I was like, I don't want fucking something to tell me what I set my shit at all the time. Like, I don't want to because that's what Nest does. Like, I guess it starts learning what you put it at, and then it starts doing that.
Yeah, the Nest wouldn't work for me because it doesn't know what my wife feels like for the day. And it just when it thinks it figures it out, it won't matter because it's going to change everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Nest to me sounds like if it can figure that out, then yeah.
Well, I guess in all honesty, I mean, it just.
Ed, the old tech guy, said you can tell the Nest not to learn.
Can you?
If you can, then you don't need a smart thermostat. I have issues with a thermostat that may be smarter than me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want that thing telling me what I can and can't have my temperature turned to at what certain days.
I mean, if my wife wants the temperature set at 68 when it's 100 degrees out, and it may or may not be able to keep up, and then the Nest is going to tell me, you could save more money if you turned it up just a couple degrees. You tell that to my wife.
68 on 100-degree day. Man, that AC is working.
And we have a small unit for our house.
I actually, my one buddy, like my plumber HVAC guy, when I need him, he got me an Amana system, but it has a lifetime warranty on the compressor, which is basically the only thing that really goes out on an AC unit, over time.
Unless it's the A coils, get a pinhole leak, and then you spend $900 for a new one.
Right, but if you keep up with the maintenance and looking over it and all that, you should be all right.
If you make it past 10 years, yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So, but that was cool, though. I think that was cool that it came with that warranty.
Yeah, because usually it's the cap or the coils. Those are my two go-to spots.
Two bugaboos.
If the coils get a pinhole leak, then you start losing Freon. They charge it. If it comes back in a week, well, then you got your pinhole, and then you're spending $900 minimum.
Just duct tape it.
Yeah, I wish. I know. Like, you don't need to replace that. You can just get your soldering iron out. Plug up a pinhole leak. What are you talking about?
All right, I think Brandon wants to go.
Yeah. Brandon's itching to get to work.
I'm just here.
He's like, I gotta get out. Gotta go.
Yep. I got more important things to do.
Nah.
He's got to go shop and buy some new tools.
Well, I appreciate everyone joining us tonight. I really do, and it's been a fun night. We're gonna get back into the second Saturday of every month, and
we'll wake Brandon up. We'll tell him to have some more caffeine.
Right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fighting a toothache tonight.
You need some whiskey.
Yeah,
I need whiskey because Tylenol and ibuprofen just ain't doing it.
morphine.
But yes, because you can just pick that up at your corner drugstore.
Well, I think it's called heroin on the street, but
I think heroin is completely different than morphine. At least it is in my neck of the woods.
I think I got a big thank you to Ed, the tech guy, and BW Electronics for the donations to the channel. I appreciate it. It helps out.
That's awesome.
Very, very cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. So next month.
Yep, the second Saturday of every month, we'll be live on BSS Small Engines. Prepare your questions. Do whatever you'd like. We'll do our best to mistreat everybody equally.
Yep. And we might have a guest next month. We don't know yet. We never know. It's a hit and miss. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But anyway, guys, see everybody later. Thanks for coming in.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.